And on the second level about the awareness, yes, that's a large part of this program to create the awareness. Medication are for healthy people. If you need it, you could be on it and you can get off it. And if you need the more serious stuff, there are medications. Live your life. Be as productive as you could be. Don't hold it in. Thank you. We are going to Ellie. Ellie, you're on the air with Mordechai.
Hi, thank you. I really want to thank you for your amazing show and all the things you're doing. You do know who I am because I have been in contact with you once. I'm known as the Midnightrabbi publicly, which means basically I've been working with kids on the street, etc., and other programs.
Hold on. So
let's. I'm finding a big struggle this time of year.
Good. I don't know if I could use those words, but I fell in love with you, with your website, my friend. Midnightrabbi. Yeah. Go ahead. Share with people a little who you are. You've chatted with me once or twice. I've seen your website.
Basically, I've been working for many, many years with kids and special, Bochum and the Shamalach, and they all need a lot of, inspiration and chizuk, and, we all do now. And me personally, right now, in Eretz Yisrael, it's been, a difficult kufa for. And I want to really get, from a therapist point of view, how do we inspire others, including myself, to have simcha in our life, and in a therapy way, how do we, if we haven't learned to be a professional therapist like yourself, but how do we as an individual take the best points out of it so we can really help, for example, our students or our family, or even, but right now this is an opportunity to really inspire the world with simcha. How do we bring that down so we can really make this year a very positive year instead of the more difficult year that we've all gone through?
So I'm going to tell you a secret in therapy that we can share it all over. And the biggest secret that I know of a therapist, the biggest secret of all, none of them are the skills that I've learned. None of them are the tools that I've learned. And that's something that you've got in abundance. And that is love in your heart. There's the famous saying that I've said many times. People don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. I've said that many times. People don't care how much you know. It doesn't matter how good of a therapist I could be. If I can't love the person, if I can't connect to them, be with them, and they should really feel that I care, I could not help them at all. Now, one of the modalities that I subconscious, cognitive behavioral tools, but all those are tools. The real system is always the heart caring, and then whatever you do works out. However, you might need some more successful tools. That's something else. But it's coming now, Yontiv. If I would show you the amount of messages that I'm getting now, well, let me just read one or two of them similar to that. I'm a 23-year-old bacha. I'm going home for Sukkot. How can I be happy for 8 days of Zman dysfunctional home? Let's look at this one. I'm going to be coming home. I come from here. How can you ask your parents that you would like them to go for therapy, knowing that it's going to hurt them if you ask? There's a lot of stress at home, and feel that's the point that therapy is needed. I'm 16 years old. So many people are going through pain, and they just need someone to speak to. And when I went on your website and I saw the stuff that you do, Midnightrabbi, and when you called in, also the first time when you called in, and at midnight is when so many of these guys that are out on the street, and all they're asking for is a little place of love. I was by my in-laws last year. I think it was Sukkot, and someone told me, the guy asked me not to say his name, so I won't say his name, but a regular, unassuming person in shul, someone tells me, do you know that he has every Friday night at 12 o'clock, boys come over to his house? And I figured I'm just going to go in there. There are only 2 boys. And that's very, very impressive. And at around 1:30, when I wanted to leave, all of a sudden 7 boys moved in, walked in. They were from Avenue R in Flatbush. They were coming in, let's say, to, let's call it to the beginning of Borough Park, to this person's house. And I asked, why are you guys coming? He says, we just wanted somewhere to go. We knew there'll be food, and we know we can talk. And it's the person's heart that's there. And they contact him throughout the week. They talk to him. It's the caring. I can't do that. If I spend my energy and my koiches on therapy, I cannot be up at 1:30 starting then to talk to 6, 7 boys. But what these guys need is someone that could spend hours with them that a therapist is not supposed to do and can't do that role. We need an entire team helping Klal Yisrael. You, Midnightrabbi, don't... I mean...
Personally, I need more support, I feel, from the people out there to make this more reality, that we can really access people more. But personally, I'm not living in Yerushalayim anymore, and I'm not able to access as much as I would like the students, etc., etc. And it's a lot to do with there's a certain cutness in terms of the success of yeshivas right now because of all different factors. And I feel there needs to be much more chizuk in this area from everybody in class to really not just fund it, but also be, like you're saying, like I try to be and have tried to be available for people. Now I have to resort to a lot more online stuff, but that for me is b'diavad. I'd much rather be much more personal and online, to be in front of them, not online on the computer, but in front of them in person, one to one. This is the most powerful way to help someone.
They need that connection. They need to see the person. And again, a therapist is not allowed to do this, or not. I shouldn't say not allowed to. Many therapists don't, but sometimes they need that physical hug. I'm talking about appropriate now. I'm just saying that. But many times when you look at these quote-unquote teens at risk, they're hugging each other. There's looking for someone just to tap them on the back, put the hand on the shoulder. Again, appropriate, nowhere lower than their shoulders, but the shoulder level. But it's just a concept that's needed. And I agree with you. And Klal Yisrael, there are so much out there, and because it's not organized, it's hard to do.
In Eretz Yisrael, it definitely needs much more chizuk. I'm here right now and seeing a big downward effort going on, not upward, which is very upsetting and very heartbreaking for me. And as much as there's pain out there on the front in the wars, there's also pain in terms of the ability to really to be there for the kids, especially because even if, for example, when I was teaching classes in this generation, the kids are so into the iPhones and into distractions, to be able to actually access them truly, it takes a tremendous effort, and it needs the time and it needs the devotion. To really access them, to really, like you're saying, have the heart-to-heart, that's what's going to open them up and help them. I don't know if the powerful speakers that are doing great things are able to do it as much as we really need right now.
Let's rephrase that. If that's not their job. Those powerful speakers are empowered to start doing our steps. We need midnight rabbis that when these boys are in the street, to have the person that they could go to 12 o'clock at night for 6 months till we can turn them around to have normal schedule that 12 o'clock is when they go to sleep instead of waking up. And we need people like you on the front line. I'm saddened. For me, it's a tragedy because I always had like somewhere back in my mind knowing there are like people like you. And as I spoke to you 6 months ago, if you don't take care of yourself financially and other stuff, unfortunately, it will throw you out. And that's the sad part. We have so many great people like you. It's a tragedy, in my opinion, that Rabbi Midnightrabbi.
Can we just turn it around somehow? Is there? Other than davening to Hashem and being sympathetic,
I will be honest with you. I do believe
what can we do to really?
I do have a way, but I do have a way. I'm going to say a way, but I know people are going to be very upset at me. But I'll say it anyhow because I found that way is something that works with me, and that is it needs to be balanced financially as well. Means if you take a kid out 12 o'clock at night from 12 to 2, 12 to 3, you need to tell the parents this is a reality. Or speak to the yeshivas. Reality is that I need to speak to the parents and I need to get $200 or $300 a week. That's not a lot because when a therapist takes $175 an hour and you're spending 2-3 hours, but you could spend time with 2-3 kids at a time. So if you're also getting $700, $800 or $1,000 a week in it's enough to make it. And for these parents to know that their kid is not on the streets or they're speaking at someone healthy and they will take your time. If you have just 5 people paying you that a week, it's $1,500. It's enough to give your wife in Eretz Yisrael again. In America, it's very tight, but in Eretz Yisrael, it's more comfortable. But you need to be confident.
We can live off very little here. There's a
that's right. That's right.
But is all about.
Let me ask you: had you been getting from a parent that you spent with the kids, let's say 15 to 16 hours a week? I'm not talking about minutes. I'm talking about 15 hours. You tell me how many kids did you spend 15 hours a week with for months at a time?
It's in the hundreds over the last 10 years. Good.
Now let's take the next step. Now, to all you parents that are listening when we're complaining, how much did those parents ever pay you or give you? Let's say
come out nothing.
Come out nothing. Exactly. Now, parents, let's wake up.
Maybe it was a few very special people paid for a kiddush one time or something. You know,
a kiddush that you lay out. Exactly.
Someone brought me to meet that covered Yom Tov one time.
Thank you.
And all those things were tremendously appreciated.
Of course.
Talking money terms, they disappeared. You know. And I rarely
this is
did
what
that.
I learned.
I never really asked
This is what I learned in the therapy process. That is, so many people. But look at you now. You're off the front lines. Instead of helping hundreds, if you could have started, now not if, I wonder if it's still possible to do, if you can speak to some of those parents, and you tell the kid, I need to speak to your parent, we need to get, and tell the parent, this is reality. Your son is now hanging around. I am willing to give him 15 hours a week, but what I need is $300 a week for 15 hours a week, and there must be a commitment of 7-8 weeks at a time. Every 8 weeks, you'll pay in advance. Or I'll do the first 2 weeks, your son commits to it, he hangs around me. Now, if you've got 10 such parents a week giving you $300, now make the cheshbon, 10 parents, $300 a week, that's $3,000 a week. How many, no, I'm talking about a week. $300 a week, you're spending $50 with his kid a week. And you're going to have 3 kids together, they're together. Let's just, and I'm not talking about that you should become wealthy. I just want you to realize the concept. How much more energy would you have to give for your wife and kids, saying here that when you're up, when your hours of functioning are from 10 o'clock at night till 6 in the morning, and you're going to have to learn with your kids sometime, how much easier is your shalom bayis, your energy for yourself? How many more kids would be helped?
It'd be tremendous.
That's right.
I can't imagine, personally, what I'd like to do with the money is help build a center that these people have
Rabbi,
space
Midnight
to go
Rabbi,
to.
I need to stop that. We are going to first teach you. First step is take care of yourself and your family. The minute you do that, you can help people. I almost left the business several years ago, and I use the word business because part of me needs to view therapy as a business. If I view it as a chesed as you did, I was almost thrown out. I thank Hashem that I was able to view. There's a time when I do chesed, I don't say 100%, 99.9% pure, and there are times that I'm helping people with a financial basis, knowing that myself and my family, I can help so many more people. Imagine me being a lawyer because I almost left the therapy field because I felt guilty and felt bad taking money, and people make you feel guilty. People will throw it on you. Midnightrabbi, I would really highly recommend that you figure out a way to balance that you should get a normal salary. Because other than that, chas v'shalom, you're not doing any more the front lines in your shalayim and the streets. That's terrible. To me, it's a tragedy.
Yeah, these last few months is not.
These last few months is a tragedy that we lost you.
I could go b'chinam, but then, like you said, I'm not taking care of myself.
Not only that, you're not. You tried it. You're not. You're helping people online now. That's not.
Yeah.
That's not. Now, let's put it simpler. If you would have just 15 boys and the father pays you $100 a week for 15 hours, that means they're going to be staying with you. $100. How many boys? 15 boys. That's. Would the
yeshivas be agreeable to this? That's the big question.
It's a separate. You're not now dealing. Let's just recognize your part. You're picking up a boy 12 o'clock at night, and I don't want to say the places, but where they are, and you tell a father, you give me $100 a week. I will spend 15 hours with your boys with 3-4, and you get to 3-4 friends. Whoever wants those friends, you don't think the boys, once you get 3-4 guys, will say, I want to go with this. He's got the boys with them, and it's kosher, and you place the call. Imagine you would have a group, the Midnightrabbi boys. 7-8 boys a week.
Yeah, that's what I planned to do. I really did plan to organize this financially.
But here's where the difficult part comes in. If someone can't afford it right now, at those hours, you cannot give them the time. There will be time for your chesed. You might do it after 5 in the morning. This radio phone line, do you know the amount that I do? Unbelievable amount. However, my business hours of 9 to 5, at that time, I cannot do chesed with my business time. I do chesed other times. I had a bacher, I don't want to say this because a lot of my clients are going to be upset, but someone that lived next to me, I'm not going to go into mamish cried. On Shabbos, I give this guy a free session. I asked the Rav, it's 100% okay. So instead of sleeping 2 hours, which I tried to sleep, I sleep an hour. I give this guy 45 minutes now for who knows how many weeks now. I can do my chesed time. Not on my kids' time, not on my wife's time, but I have to make my parnasa. If you can't learn to balance now, Midnightrabbi, if you would have your 7-8 boys, your times that they're hanging around from 11 to 3 in the morning, they're yours. After 3, you give away for free. Before 11, you give away for free. You'll still do your chesed, but where you have to recognize, unfortunately, we lost you because you didn't learn this value. That's why we always get these people calling up therapists. They're in it for the money. I understand when someone doesn't see what's going on behind the scenes, but we lost you, my friend. But not Chas v'Shalom online isn't doing. But I always had a smile in my heart when I would just check your website or your blog and see another dance that you did with the boys and something else they were around. I felt good knowing there's someone there. But if you don't balance it with Olam Hazeh, Tachlis, unfortunately, we'll lose you. And I know great therapists.
Is it possible to do it without the qualifications and without the
Sure, you're not being a therapist. You're being like a life coach. You're taking them off the streets. Qualify what you are. You had hundreds of boys come to you. I don't have hundreds of boys coming to me.
Yeah,
I'm not saying I couldn't do it, but you got it. You got the chaos.
Well.
What?
I think music is a tremendously powerful tool as well, especially with
Sadikal, it's your koyach. Stop rationalizing.
Stop
rationalizing how you're doing it. The Rebbeinu Shalom gave you a bracha.
Yeah.
You told me we were discussing 15 hours a week with a boy, and you have hundreds of boys, and most people gave you is they sponsored you a kiddush. A little here and there. We lost you, my friend. And I shouldn't say we lost you. Let's get you back. Go back, speak to the couple of boys, maybe try it, maybe make a deal with your wife, for an example, tell her, give me 2 weeks to go back to the streets of Yerushalayim 12 o'clock at night. You contact the boys, you say, boys, you're out in the street. I am willing to hang around with 10 of you. Give me your father's number. I'm willing to get your kid Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday night especially. Those nights hanging around me from 11 till 4 in the morning. They got the door open by me. All I'm asking for is $100 a week. You don't think...
But the goal would be to make this kavias. We don't want them to stay on the street. We want them off the street.
That's right. And then
so
the
once
minute
they get
they're
them off the street, then they're out of my
That's right. And once they're off the
you
street, and once they get more comfortable to normal, and it will take several months, then you've gotten the boys stable in the yeshiva, and now you have opening for another one. Yes.
Okay.
And if you make more money, and all your family needs is $700 or $800 a week, and you're making $1,500 a week, don't not take the money. Now you can put the money to the kiddush, money to take them on a trip. But first know what's your parnasa, and extra is extra. But if you don't take care of yourself, we lost you.
I really appreciate your show and your support.
And let me make it clear. I want you back on the streets. I want you on the streets. I can't do that.
Yeah.
I can't. You got the
I appreciate that. And I'm going to definitely go on the streets during Sukkot to dance with all the guys. I'm trying to get as many...
To the boys, you get their numbers. You ask them, are you guys willing to come to me? Would you guys willing to commit? Not to commit, but you guys will hang around every night I'm out with you guys. Would you guys get a team? Would you guys want to now give me your father's number? You call up the fathers and you say, this is reality. If you pay, I can have it. I will be having several of his friends coming along. Do you want them? That's the condition at those hours.
Okay.
We would have the Midnightrabbi back in person.
Amen. It's easy to find me, just Midnightrabbi. You know, that's it.
Yes.
Okay.
And also do me a favor.
Thank you so much.
It would do a tremendous amount for me to know that, for me, at least knowing that I gave you that little push, that little boost in getting you to back on. Take care of yourself.
The key is, will I myself back these things? That's what I want to know.
That what?
Will Am Yisrael back these things, or do I have to sit selling on Amazon or something terrible?
Am Yisrael will back you, but we only back the people once things are successful. I've already learned to accept that.
Yeah.
Now, an Oisha would say, I see you, but how do I know you're really good? It's reality. Do you know the amount of requests that an Oisha gets on a daily basis? The only way to know if something is real is when you see the successes. So not when someone says, I helped, because it looks like that's why you got to learn to take care of yourself first. Every organization first starts with them. They funded it. They got it going. Then years later, every organization starts with me, myself, and I. And from there, I am doing it. But if you can't get the backing on your own, then it's hard to say Klal Yisrael. Everything is needed for Klal Yisrael.
Yes, true.
So start. Let those that have a need, let them take responsibility. Your son is out 4 hours, at least 3 times a week or twice a week. I am willing to be available for him at those times. Not sometimes one-on-one, most of the time in a group, but know that for $100 a week, your son is not in those bad places. I think it's a no-brainer.
Excellent.
And the one thing to be clear is when the father or mother says no, you have to say no as well. If you will let them be there for free, you will end up being free. If you break the rule once or twice, maybe it will survive. You break the rule 5 times, you'll be broke. Somehow, you're not going to get it. I need to clarify you as a business aspect. But those business hours, the parent must give it. The kid's begging you time, no problem. I'll give you before 11 or after 3. But those hours...
What if, for example, some of the kids I have, their fathers or mothers are having financial difficulties, etc., etc.
Let me tell you something.
It is a financial scholarships. What do you do?
They can borrow it, go. $100 to save their kid a week off the hours from 12 to 3. It's a lot more expensive getting those kids off the drug. Everything else, Hassan, when the kid is off the derech.
What if the kid resists me getting involved with the parents?
Then you don't give the kid a choice. You tell the kid, look, you're out. You love me. I love you. You see what's going on. You start with what you got. You start with 3 boys that want to hang around you. We don't conquer the world one day at a time. Do you know I still get opposition to this phone line that I have? No problem. Just turn the dial all the time.
Don't pay attention to it. You're doing amazing.
Thank you, but all the time. It's no problem. Then don't call in. It's not here for those. If you've worked on hundreds of people, hundreds of kids, let's say 50 of them you would have helped. Instead of 500 that you say, but you would have helped 50. You would still be in there, in the line, and over 10 years, you would save 10,000. Instead, you dropped out after 5. Couldn't balance it. Balance, my friend. Rather to help 50 consistently while you're helping yourself, and over the long time, if you check out, just do the Google number. I have an entire program. I don't remember which one it is, but it's like a penny doubled concept. If I offer you $1 million today, or a penny doubled, which today it's a cent, 1 cent, the next day it's 2, the next is 4, then 8, then 16, then 32, then 64, then 128, then 2, 4, 256, and you do the number up and up and up. In 1 month, a penny doubled is going to reach 31 days. Is going to reach 10 million something, $10,700,000. Consistently helping 50 people, consistently helping 10 boys every week in a row will give you more success than helping 500 people over a year and a half, 2 years, and then falling out. You target what you can, and this is for everyone listening. I'm not just talking for the awareness. You want to help out. Make sure you take care of yourself, and then you can help hundreds of people throughout your history. You don't take care of yourself, it's not balanced. You will lose. Klal Yisrael will lose you.
Wow. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. My pleasure, and I hope with Siyata D'Shmaya follow up even 2-3 weeks after Sukkot, even if it's not working. Or Bli Neder, I will give you from this program, since this is my donation. Since this is my donation, I choose to give you every single week. Call me up. And we will spend 5-10 minutes of giving you advice, suggestions, growing. Any question that you've got, I will be able to help you. Because I feel helping you will help another, I call it like little ripples. You know when you drop a little, what do you call it? Like a little drop of water, ripple going?
Yeah.
Now, my goal of this program is I'm just making a ripple, and people hear the information. And when I get messages that they go for therapists and they keep on growing, to me, I know I did my ripple. Helping you, I feel, is going to make another major ripple that the next drop comes and will keep the ripple going. So helping you, I feel, is one of the great schusim that I love, is helping people that make affecting others. And I felt good knowing that there was someone like you on the front lines, and if we need to give you the help, I will give that to you. And if anyone has got difficulties with my suggestions or people have different advice, why don't we share? What's your website, Midnight Rabbi, so people could listen?
It's Midnightrabbi Inspires. If it's Googled, Midnightrabbi Inspires. That's
Midnightrabbi Inspired. They could see you. You're a wonderful Chassidish-looking guy. I couldn't tell by your voice.
No, I grew up in London. I wasn't so Chassidish, but I've had it.
Yes. And my friend, we need you, but we can only have you if you take care of yourself. And when we spoke months ago, I heard you weren't taking. I told you got to. I'm sad to see that you didn't. Yeah.
No, I did try different things, but Hashem, I'm at a point where this is a new year, a new fresh
new year,
start,
and Klal Yisrael needs you. Do not go to that shiur.
Don't anybody go. Else's.
Yes.
So anyone can contact me.
But again, I make a request.
Like you said, in a real way, so I can take care of myself.
I want to make a request. The only way to make the request is to break the addiction of thinking that people help you. My request to you is, even if someone sends you donations, do not use it at all. Your way to make it is you got to learn to charge for your time, and that's still chesed. That's unbelievable chesed. However, there's chesed other times. Your workable hours must be workable and must be billable.
Wow.
Okay?
That's amazing. I appreciate that so much. Thank you.
Yes, hatzlacha. Thank you. We are going to Fagi. Thank you for holding. Fagi, you're online too. Thank you for holding so long, I should say.
That's okay. My question is this.
Hold on. Let me get your help. What do you say to what I suggested to the Midnight Rabbi? What's your take? And if people are listening, I'd like to hear your opinion. Call up. Just give. I'm right, wrong. We're not going to make long topics, but I feel it's a very important point for people to realize how many people go into the field to help, and people will not pay, unfortunately, unless it's demanded. That's just the reality, Shabbai. And we can't rely on the Ashirim to go sponsor everything. What's your thoughts? And I'm comfortable if you disagree.
It's totally right.
And do you understand how this guy's such a great heart, but how bad he feels that if the parents say, I can't afford, so he doesn't charge, but then unfortunately, he's not helping teens anymore.
right? That's his problem.
His title was called Midnightrabbi. His specialty is he would leave his wife and kids and be out in the street 12 o'clock at night getting the boys off. Hear it. Now, when he asks for a simple amount of money, they'll spot one of the Kadeshim that he gives for free. They'll give a little money to that. All right, Faggy, thank you for that. What's your question, your comment?
I
Boy, the
consider
lights,
myself...
everything, all the switchboards just lit up, I see. Okay.